guys, and welcome to this week's video. So this week we're going to be doing something a bit different here in our office that we use as an office. The problem we have is there's a bit of a walkway through from our hallway into our kitchen. We've obviously got an office area here, we've got a bit of a coffee area to the other side, and as you can see we've got two desks. One desk is for my wife, one desk is for me, and we still need to keep some sort of office here, but what we want to try and do is have an area that actually distinguishes this as being a bit of an office area, but at the same time trying to hide things away so that when people are walking through and we're not using it as an office, it doesn't look bad and you can't see all of the equipment out. So our plan really in a nutshell is to paint the lower half of this wall in a darker colour. That means that when we put the screens on the wall, hopefully you won't be able to see the screens. We're then also going to be making some new desks and painting them the same colour of the wall so they disappear into the wall, and hopefully having some ingenious storage places to hide the laptop and other bits and pieces that we've got out, so that when we're not using this area as an office, it just looks like a corridor, but then at the same time, very quickly and very easily, we can get our bits and pieces out to use it as an office. The plan is to have an L-shape desk here, and that's so that my wife can sit behind the desk and then actually look out the window, whereas I don't use my desk as much, so I'm going to have the desk here as it is, but I'm going to have it slightly longer with some more storage for me as well. So that's the plan. The first thing I've got to do is dismantle or remove all of the books from the bookshelf and get the bookshelf moved into another room, so I can move the furniture away from the wall and then put a laser level in and measure where we're going to have the line and then start painting. So there's lots to be getting on with, so let's get going. So there we are, I've moved the bookcase and I've now got a laser line on the wall, as you can see. So I'm going to put some masking tape, or I'm going to be using fog tape so that it gives me a nice line. I'm going to put that all the way around the room or on the wall that we want to paint, and then I can start getting painting. I've got the first coat of paint on. Now I've taken the masking tape off, only because I find some of this more modern paint kind of peels off sometimes if you leave it too long. So I'd rather peel the masking tape off, and then if I need to put another layer of masking tape on afterwards for the second coat, then I would rather do that. Already it's transforming this room and it looks really, really good. I love the colour and I think it looks really modern. So really happy with that. Gonna let that dry and then I'll put a second coat on and then we can start making the desks. So here I am with my plank of wood that I've bought. It was the cheapest option. I looked at MDF, plywood and this pine planks that were ready made, and this was the cheapest, so I've gone for that. What I need to do is cut 100 centimeters or a piece for 100 centimeters, and then cut another piece which is 52 centimeters and combine them and join them into an L shape, which is going to be Lauren's desk. My wife Lauren, it's going to be her desk. So now the next thing I've got to do is start cutting. So here we are. I'm just putting the brackets for my wife's desk, and I'm using these corner brackets that I've bought, and I'm just marking on the wall exactly where they need to be, so they're absolutely dead level. I'm using my leveler again. Because I've got plasterboard here, I'm just using plasterboard fittings, and I'm just putting lots of brackets in to make sure that it's very, very strong, and hopefully I'll have some wooden legs as well. But it's all starting to come together now. So as you can see, I've got all the brackets in place ready, and I've cut my pieces of wood. So now we can start to see how the desk is going to form. So let me just put these here. So that's how the desk is going to look like. What I now need to do is I need to fix all these three pieces together so they're nice and secure. Finding joints for this element here, so putting these two pieces of wood together, and also putting some joints on this end piece, and I'll probably put some brackets inside just to give it some extra support. So that's the next bit, and then once I've done that, I can bring it all in here and give it a good paint. So I'm here in the man cave, and what I need to do is work out how I'm going to join those two pieces of wood together. Now, I don't have a sort of a biscuiting tool, so I can't put little biscuits, and little biscuits are these little wood things that fit in between the wood, and it holds two pieces of wood together. But what I do have is a router, so I'm going to drill a hole and then insert a little piece of wood, and that will go into both pieces of wood, and then the piece of wood will be glued and stuck together. So I now have all of my holes and my nodules worked in, and hopefully if I push the two together, there we are, we have my joint. So now I can pull these apart again, hopefully, put some glue in here, some wood glue around here, just to make sure that all of this is stuck together properly. There we are. I've now put all of the pieces of wood together. I've glued them together, and I'm going to leave them here to dry in situ. Now I need to move on to my desk. So this is the plan for my desk. I've got this gorgeous bedside table that came from my grand's house, and although it's a lovely piece of furniture, it really needs updating, and it's absolutely the perfect size and will give me drawers and everything else for my new desk. So I'm going to upcycle this cabinet, and then I'm going to put basically a piece of wood. Now I know it's not at the right level, but I'm going to put a piece of wood on top of the cabinet, and then we're going to have some brackets holding this side up. But the only problem is, because of the wood that the size of wood that we got, we only could get a 40 centimetre width piece of wood. So I'm going to have to add another piece of wood here just to kind of tie it into the cabinet. The next part of the project is to actually sand this cabinet down, because this is going to be painted the same colour, so it's all going to be the same colour. So I need to sand this down to give it a key, so when I paint on it, it will obviously, the paint will stick. So there we are. I've sanded the cabinet, and I've sanded the drawer fronts and the door handles. Every part that I'm going to be painting, I've just sanded slightly, and that will give it a key. I've then also cleaned all of the units with a bit of sugar soap. Now, what's really, really interesting and quite bizarre is, just while I'm cleaning up these drawer fronts, I don't know why, but I just got a whiff of cigarette smoke, wood, and I was transported back to my gran and gramps' house, where obviously this cabinet came from. I don't know why. They used to smoke when they were sort of younger, but by the time I was sort of growing up, they'd given up. So I don't remember them as smokers, but there's just something about the smell of this furniture that just takes me back to their house. Yeah, kind of bizarre really, but yeah, it's really nice. So I'm now sniffing drawers and getting memories. Okay, so the next thing we've got to do is not sit here sniffing drawers, but actually the plan is to get this painted. There we are. I've given the whole desk one coat of paint, and probably going to give it a second coat of paint, but it now sort of disappears into the wall, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so here we are, and I've got the desk in place and it's painted. Just before I was going to sort of screw it all together and probably give it a coat of varnish to kind of protect the paint, we wanted to check that everything was okay and that we can get in and out of the desk and there's enough room. Normally the desk should be a little bit further, so a bit closer here. And what we're struggling with now, we did make a cardboard template to make sure this worked, and it did work on cardboard, but actually we're sort of struggling to get the chair in, and of course if you've got your knees and everything else, there's actually not as much space in this little bit here that we wanted to. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to cut a piece of wood, or cut a chunk off here, and I'm also going to cut a chunk off down the bottom here. And what I'm also going to do is try and put a curve just at this bit here, and then take it in even further, so that we've got plenty of room here to get our knees in, and then we'll have the surface here. So it's not so much the surface that's the problem, it's really getting in. So that's what I'm going to do now. So frustrating, but that's how these projects go. So we've got the desk here, I've painted it, I've given it a coat of varnish as well, just to give it some extra protection. And as you can see, this is what I've cut in order to give you a little bit more space to get your feet in and out. So now I can easily get into the desk itself, and the monitor moves out so you can kind of sit on the desk like this. You can look out the window, and then if I want to get out, there's plenty of room to get my knees out as well. So there we are, I've got the two desks in. My wife's desk is a nice corner desk and the monitor's on the wall and can move around. And I've got my desk here with again the monitor on the wall, and we've painted all of the furniture the same colour as the walls, so hopefully it all blends in together and you don't see it, you don't notice it as much. It's finished, I'm really happy with it. I look forward to working at my new desk. Anyway, thanks for watching this week's video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified of future videos. And I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye.